We are all there with the panic of the last week, where we have seen the global markets tumble along with the Indian markets. But the problem was the global markets recovered, but the Indian markets kept going down. And we had a very bad week. And now this has put in questions in our mind. Will the bull market continue or not? So, I want you to know and understand what I feel. I might be wrong, I might be right. But before I do that, I would want a poll of all the market participants. So I'd request Swati to take a poll that how many of you believe that on the month end, that is the 31st of October, Nifty is going to close below 25,000. Right? How many of you believe that? Yes. So Swati, have you taken the poll? Right. So we'll give you a minute. So I request Swati, once you get the poll numbers, please share it with us.
So the poll is already on the screen. People are voting for it. So I'll just end up the poll quickly in next 5 seconds, maybe.
Thank you. So lovely. So Swati,
so as we can see that, so as we can see that around 42% believe yes and 58% believe no.
Lovely. So we are split house 50-50, and we believe that 50% of us believe that the markets are going to go down and 50% of us believe that the markets are going to rise. Great. Fine. So now let us now decimate things first from a common viewpoint, or we call it from the Mota Buddhi. So the first thing, let us try to eliminate and let us try to see what are the things which can play and which can come into the play. Right? Number one, if there is a crisis, if this war is going to escalate, which is the commodity which is going to be the most bullish? Which is the commodity which is going to be the most bullish? I think so the answer is gold. So let us go and study the gold chart. If you see this gold chart here, what do you see? It has formed a consolidation, right? And if you see in this panic, what are you seeing? That the gold is not reacting, especially in the last 2-3 days. So if there was going to be a escalation and if Israel is going to attack, what would have happened? Probably gold would have given you a very big breakout. So at least what is gold telling you? That not in the immediate term. So I've got my reference levels. My reference level suggests that gold around 2640 and below would suggest that the panic is slowing down. And if it breaks up from the all-time high and it goes to 2700, I would say the panic is escalating. So on a Friday being a weekend where the chances of attacks were very high, on a Sunday or a Saturday, someone is not very bullish in gold. If you see, the prices have closed in the middle of the range. So the market feels, probably the gold buyers feel, that immediate escalation is not on the cards. Why? Because if you see, there was a lot of crisis here. There was bombing, and Israel threw a lot of missiles, but the gold market did not react. So Israel and Iran tensions, probably not immediate, not probably in the next week, or not in the next 2 weeks, right? So what happens? Market is forward looking. So what we have done is, the first crisis was Israel as well as Iran. So as I told you, below 2640, what would happen? You would be doubly sure that immediate crisis is not there. It can come back in the next 1 month, 2 months, I don't know when. But the immediate crisis is not there. Or if it goes above 2700, then yes, you need to be cautious that the Israel and the Iran tension can escalate. I think so. This is one of the biggest indicators right now. If there is a panic situation, gold will be a safe haven, and gold is going to go up. And gold will give you a better indication if it starts trading below 2650, 2640, that the panic is subsiding. Probably Monday could be a very big indicator. If we don't see bombing or any retaliation between Israel and Iran, I think so, Monday the global markets might open gap up. Why? Because one thing, what it tells me is, once we have discussed this, is if you see on Friday, the supreme leader of Iran, he came out in the public and he gave the prayers. In a war type situation, would have been possible? No, it would have not been possible. So Israel-Iran tensions, I believe, is not a trigger for the next 2 weeks. That is what my common man's common sense tells me, right? Gold did not give a breakout. The US president coming out and telling that we will bomb Iran's oil facility. Probably no one does that. Then it's not a war. It's a threat. So when you make a threat, it does not mean it's a war. So the first thing is, the tension does not look immediate. Iran and Israel as of now, right? We can go wrong. So this is our assumption. So in our assumption, we can go wrong. So what we're going to do is, number two, we're going to check the global markets, right? And we're going to check the performance of the last 1 week, because the tension was there in the last 1 week, right? And if you see the top performers, number one is China and Chinese markets, 10%. In the last 1 month, Chinese markets have gone up between 29 and 30%, right? 20 to 30%, that would be better. And now if we come down, the US markets was flat.
Sir, are you by any chance, are you sharing any screen?
Yeah, just a minute, I'll just do that.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, I just missed that out. Yeah, so if you see this weekly performance, Chinese markets, 1 month between 20 to 30, and they're the best performers. So this, in a crisis situation, you will never find, right? In a crisis situation, you will not find this type of a movement. If you go down to the US markets, despite all this panic, they were flat for the week and they're up for the month, right? Now, if you see here, as you keep going down, these are the negative markets, right? And in the bottom, we are India, minus 4% for the week. Sensex minus 4.5 for the week. So what is it telling you? It is telling you that probably There are few countries, and if you see, they're mainly Asian countries, Nikkei, Kospi, which are impacted. Taiwan, right? The European ones are not that impacted. The Americans are not that impacted. So definitely it comes down that there's an Asian pack which is impacted. Now the question comes in that if China is up and all the other Asian markets are down, that means it is telling you that this could be a China related problem, right? So what we are going to do is we are probably going to check the Chinese market and we're going to see what has it done. So let us check the Shanghai market. Give me a minute. We'll take some questions after we complete with this, and then we'll go to the Indian markets. We'll study this. I hope we all can see the charts. Now, if you see the Shanghai market, can you see this vertical rise? And if you see this in a monthly time frame, you'll understand that the Shanghai market has not done anything. And all of a sudden, it is now jumping up and it is breaking out. And probably what I see here is we are going to go up to 3,700. We are another 5-7% remaining. And we might break that also. Because right? Can you see? Very few years, RSI has gone above 80. Now, what happens when RSI goes above 80 in the monthly chart? Just let us see how many times it has gone. So let us start. The first time I think so it went was in the year 2006, right? Can you see here? 81, 82. And the third year, can you see RS from Nifty from 3,700, it broke down to 2,900. There was a sharp correction. That was the month of May 2006. Now, can you see here RSI 85, 81, 83. Can you see the fourth month? There was a very sharp correction. So generally that monthly low is taken out, right? If you see, there was one period here also, 2014, and you see the monthly low was taken out. So we don't know when. And right now you are back here. This is the long time. This is here. So probably the monthly low is 24,753. So I won't be surprised in the short run. If you see the daily chart, this low can be taken out. So till that selling is not completed, we might see that low being taken out because that's a historical. So it does not mean that the RSI above 80, the monthly low has to be taken out this month. It can be taken out next month also. But if it remains around 80 and above, generally we have seen whenever the correction happens, it takes to the monthly low. There's no guarantee about it, but there is a probability which is there, right? So the markets were signaling trouble. It was not that the markets were overbought. It was not telling you in the daily time frame, but in the monthly time frame, it was suggesting to you that things are getting heated. So this correction is a welcome move. Does it suggest that the trend is going to complete to an end, or it is a start of a bear market? That only time can tell you. As of now, we are in a structural uptrend of higher highs and higher lows. Right? The fall has been steep. As I told you, the China factor was very important. Now, if it is a bull run, if you see this RSI in the daily time frame, this is a classical trend changing structure. So whenever the RSI has come to around 40 in the daily chart in this bull run, there has been a reversal. Right? So the monthly RSI is telling you that there is a possibility that one more fall is there, probably, which can take out the monthly lows to 24,750 levels, quite possible, which is very much there on the cards. It can take out. The daily chart is telling you that in and around this area, where the RSI is around 40, 41, there has been reversals. So what could happen? That is a question which comes to my mind. What I feel is we can see one more panic in the next week, right? Where we can see a fall of another 300 to 400 points, take out that monthly low and probably reverse. That is the number one possibility. Number two possibility is what we need is there are two types of reversals which can occur. One is a very sharp reversal on Monday, gap up, and a very sharp, powerful candle, and it consolidates above the candle close. That is number one possibility. Number two is this sort of a range possibility, which we are seeing, where we can go up, down, make a lower low, come up, and it will try to consolidate with a little bit bearish bias till that selling is not absorbed. So I don't know. Nobody knows what is the quantum of selling remaining. So what they will try to do is they'll try to take a range and they'll probably try to absorb the selling. The bulls will not try to take too much of damage from here. So range consolidation before things improve. My hunch is we are probably going to see a range consolidation up and down with a little bit more volatility, right? Before either it breaks down or breaks up. The probability of seeing the global markets in a range, the probability that we did not see an escalation probably gives you a gap up opening possibility on Monday morning. A gap up opening possibility is very high. But again, if you see here, every time it has opened up in the last few days, there has been selling. So we have seen selling. Why? Because they want to take out the money and they want to move into China. And they've managed to make and break that intraday lows and close lower, especially in the last 2 days. So great guys focus on levels. They don't focus on indicators. They focus what are the important support and the resistance levels. So let us start with Nifty support level. Why? Because it is falling. So if you see the monthly low, critical area 24,766. Right now, that looks like your first support, right? And where could be the possible resistance? I would believe it's 25,500, right? 25,500. So that is your area of resistance. If Nifty is able to close above this 25,500 for 1 day also, then it can be a buy on dip market. So right now, as a trend follower, I would, whatever the macros tell me, but the Indian markets are telling me that the overall structure is lower. We are not seeing the subsidization of the selling happening. So 24,750 is that major support. So it can retest. If it retests, that's good for the markets. Why? Because that monthly low, the correction of that monthly RSI is also done with, and if it reverses from there. So how do I catch this? That it is reversing. Very simple. I go down to the lower time frame. So if I go down to the 15-minute time frame and I just put in a 60 moving average Bollinger Band, 60 by 1. So what I'm expecting it to trade above this upper Bollinger Band. So can you see it's all matching 25,500. That's where it is matching. So if it starts sustaining above, because tomorrow this upper Bollinger Band is going to come lower. So 25,500 is that level where I can see things stabilizing out. Till that is not crossed, we might see either a consolidation or a breakdown. So Chinese selling, if that is the factor, I don't think so the markets can go much below 24,750. Because we've seen 30,000-40,000 crores being absorbed with a 3-4% selling. The lower the level, the more the buying will come. So this absorption will happen very quickly. So if you were to ask me, I would say it's a normal correction in the bull run. Your markets were overbought. You've got a new Chinese trigger point. And in this trigger point, there is a profit booking which is happening. And this profit booking can happen and complete very fast, going by the structures and the global markets if the crisis doesn't escalate. So there will be companies' earnings which will come into the play and they will lead you to the fresh triggers. You have some negative news in the election, I think, so that will be discounted. And that's already in the price, the state election results. You have a RBI credit policy which is going to be very dovish. And I think so this will be favoring the banking sector. So now let us just study the Bank Nifty chart. Right. So if you study the Bank Nifty's chart, what do you notice? That slowly it is near daily chart, it is near to the support, it is near to the previous breakout level 51,750, and probably that fast rise and the fast sell has played, and we need some consolidation here. We need some consolidation here. So banking as a sector, I feel, could lead the next rally, because globally, once the interest rate environment is benign, so what you're going to see is you're going to see some benefits which will be occurring to the banking sector. And India's have got very good monsoons this time. So technically, as of now, what I feel that Bank Nifty is quite far ahead of the monthly low. So it might give the outperformance, and as it is giving it right now, it is outperforming Nifty in this fall. So we have to see whether the follow-up takes place or not, right? So banking was never that overbought. If you see, it had a very flattish structure in the monthly chart, and banking sector can lead the next rally, right? So that's what I believe in. The banking sector can lead the next. So where do you think I will be bullish in Bank Nifty? Very simple. I would want it to trade above 52,500. 1,000 points from here. That is where 52,500, 400, that is the level. It can keep trading in between that range, right? And the stock to watch, I believe, for the next quarter is going to be HDFC Bank. I like the chart structure, right? It's a good chart structure. It has come back from that same area of support. If you see, this is where the support was. $16.72 was the breakout level. It has come down to the support area, 1620.30. So this is that area where the support is. So now again in the smaller time frame, once it starts trading above the upper Bollinger, so it might take some time, around 1700, 1680. That is the level I'm looking at. And what I'm going to see is we might see this outperforming the broader markets. So HDFC Bank is the stock to watch. Anywhere you get a good signal, it is an area to enter, as long as it is taking, can you see this is taking support of the moving average, and it has come back here. So like here, small consolidation if we get and there's a breakout, I think so this stock can be an outperformer. So focus on HDFC Bank. Why? Because it has come to a good entry area. If you see in the past also, that whenever it has come to this moving average, this has given you a good risk reward buying opportunity. So focus on this particular bank. Look, you will get some consolidation in the next few days, and look for it to buy in. I probably feel this time the retest of 1800 will lead to a fresh breakout. So I think so next 6 months, probably there will be a breakout of this particular stock. Why? The breakout is inevitable, right? And in the past few days, we have seen some strong institution buying at around this level, same level. So in FIIs and DIIs, both have increased positions. And in the month of November, again, 7,000-8,000 crores of fresh buying, MSCI rebalancing is there. So there is a continuous demand. And I think so what I saw, there were some numbers yesterday. So the deposit problem has been solved. And now with the good monsoons, the credit growth is also going to pick up. So they are moving in the right track. Fundamentally also, there's some buying also, taking support. It's a good risk-reward opportunity to enter. So probably if it starts trading above yesterday's high, I'll look for an entry opportunity with this stop loss of 1626.27. So it's a good stock. If the Bank Nifty could outperform, So now let's just quickly move into a few other sectors to see. So Nifty IT is just at the support level. If you see here, it is just at the support level. It is forming a base. 41,400 to 500 is the base, and Nifty IT is holding on. And I think so it is looking for the next trigger, which is the TCS result, which is on the 10th. So there's always an action-packed week. Infosys on 18. There's a lot of negativity, which is right now before the results. People are saying that IT will underperform. There have been a lot of sell reports which have come in. But as of now, it is holding on after the big rise, right? If you see, it is at the monthly low, but if you see the last rises, it is just comfortable. So there is nothing much to worry till the breakdown doesn't happen, right? So only problem what I saw when Nifty was dragged down was for Reliance. That is where I saw a problem. It has broken the monthly 4-5 months low, right? And if you see the daily chart, also the next support, this is the election low, which is a very critical day, 2,700. So probably this is the breakout which has happened. It gave a false breakout, didn't sustain, and there was a contra selling, and I believe that 2,700 is that Lakshman Rekha of support, which is there. So what's very important here is good traders focus on levels. So on levels basis, we know that probably there could be some consolidation to a selling. Because if this China story is true and there is more funds to come out, probably Nifty might retest the lows, 24,750 to 800. So that looks the probable story. But from there could be a very sharp reversal. So if the selling completes, because what it looks like, they're selling very fast because they want to get into China. So they might exit in the next 2-3 days, right? If they keep selling like this in the next 2-3 days, they're out. So probably whatever lows we have to make, if we are to make, should happen in the next 2-3 days or by the next week, right? And then you have the other triggers then that story is over. Then the other triggers like company results, your RBI credit policies, state elections, they will take over. What it looks like, seeing the global views, seeing the other views, it looks like this is a correction which was overdue. It came in the form of the China stimulus, and if it is this, it's about to get completed. So the next 2-3 days you might see it completed, or you could see a consolidation before the next rise or the fall. So the chances are, I would say 65% that this is a short-term correction. It is not the end of a bull run, right? Now, why it is a short-term correction, not the end of the bull run? So what we've seen is, let me take you to the Nifty chart. The best performing months seasonally have been November and December. So if you go down to the history, the last 15-20 years or since the inception, the best performing months have been November and December. So seasonally, after the 15th of October, things are very smooth for the global market historically. It does not mean that it'll be this quarter. You have the US election, there could be some volatility regarding that. But as of now, if I see the US market, it is not showing me any panic. It is near to the all-time high. Can you see the closing is near in the monthly chart, in the weekly chart? It's all very, very bullish. And this is the highest market capitalization index in the world, S&P 500. So if there's a panic, if there's something, it's going to be reflected here also, but that's not the case. So till it is fine, till it is here, things are fine. I don't think so there's a problem. I don't think so. And structurally, what we have seen a clear bullish run. The weekly chart is clearly telling me that there is no problem. It is at the above the previous breakout level. So having said that, having seen the gold price, now one more indication would be the crude oil, which has gone up, right? So it is up. But can you tell me when was the crisis? There was another crisis during the time of Russia-Ukraine war in January 2022. Can you see January end? Sorry, February end. Can you see? What was the price of crude? It crossed 100. What's the price of the crude in this crisis? It's just gone up by $4, $5, $6. So it's telling me that it is in the lower end. There was a pullback, and this became the trigger for that pullback. Right? Till this crisis is there. So what I would ideally want some correction on Monday if the low is broken. If it is below 73.60, 73.50 on Monday, that's another indication for me that things are going to be bullish regarding Iran and Israel. So what is remaining? India, China, we discussed that will be very quick. In the next probably 2-3 days, the India-China fund flow story will be over, and then your markets will again go back following the international market. So the recovery, if the fall is there, and in the India-China story, the recovery also will be very quick. So if it falls and the global markets are up, you might just see a fast 1,000 points rally from the lows, right? So keep your eyes open, see these various indicators, the gold price, the crude oil, the global markets, if they're a gap up, if S&P is near the highs, you are seeing a gap up, and you're following and you're not seeing a follow-up selling for 1 or 2 days. Understand that the China story is over. Now you're back to the global cues and your local cues, right? So what we'll do is we'll take a few questions to answer. Right. So Nikhil Bhai is asking, can we see 27,000 to 30,000? See, as a technical analyst, Nikhil Bhai, your role should not be predicting where the Nifty is going to go. Nifty structurally is in a bull run, and it has always moved higher over the years, right? So I expect if the support is held, 24,750 is held in a weekly basis, you're going to move higher. You'll probably make a new high. That is for sure, right? So crude oil, we have discussed, Ankit Bhai. What I'm looking at is nothing very, very dangerous. So I think so things are fine regarding crude oil. If it breaks below 73.40, right? Right. Can you talk about the mid cap and the small cap space? Yeah, definitely we'll go there. We'll go there, right? So let us just go there to the mid cap and the small cap phase, and let's just have a look. Right. So if you see the mid cap probably has its own cycle, and if you see the weekly chart, it is given a sort of a breakdown. So probably if the correction is to be there and in the monthly chart, you are probably at a support, right? You're probably at a support. So if this support breaks out, then probably you are another 500 points away from 12,835 to 12,400. So this is matching our Nifty targets, right? This is matching our Nifty target. So if Nifty breaks down from this 25,000 levels, you're going to see 24,550, 24,650 in a hurry, and you might see a 500 points fall in mid cap also in a hurry. So these are very critical zones. So from one level to another, you might see a fast fall, or if you reverse from here, there can be a fast reversal. So this is something, a sort of a mirroring of Nifty. But what has happened is mid-cap Nifty has actually given you selling signals before the Nifty. The last expiry, if you've seen, it has formed the lower high, lower lows. So it is definitely this fall, what we've seen in the last 2 days is not as severe. Why? Because FIIs don't have mid-cap stocks in the portfolio. They've just gone down in sympathy. But yeah, they have started to fall, or just to give some distribution much before Nifty has done. Right? So it was not making higher tops, it was making lower tops, but the fall has also not been that severe. So what you notice here was those stocks which were FII favorites, like Reliance, like HDFC Bank, like probably ICICI Bank, the Nifty top tenors, they are the ones which have taken the bigger brunt in the last week. Right? They are the ones which have taken a bigger brunt. Other stocks have not taken a bigger brunt. So what's very important is banking looks like one of the best sectors which should be in your focus, and with a good monsoon, I think so. Nifty FMCG should give you a good run from here on. Right? So if you see Nifty FMCG will give you a good run from here on. So probably good area confluence is coming in Nifty FMCG also. Please focus on Nifty FMCG. It will give you a good run when it reverses. So look for some reversal signals from here. So if FMCG holds on in the short term, it starts trading above the upper linger in the 15-minute chart, taking support of the moving average, then you know that the reversal probably is coming. So it will take 3-4 days, as I told you, in this structure for the reversal to come, right? So FMCG. So it's not going to be a sector hit. I believe this is going to be a FII favorite stocks which will take a hit, because जो मेरे पास है वही मैं बेचूंगा. तो मेरे पास Infosys होगा, मेरे पास TCS है, मेरे पास ICICI बैंक है, HDFC बैंक है. Those are the stocks which are going to be there, right? So what we've seen, mid cap and small cap will not be in a panic phase in this situation of the Chinese funds. Why? Because FIS don't have those stocks. So they just fall in sympathy. Yeah, Sandeep bhai, no impact on the markets because of the SEBI policy. What we are going to see is on the derivative side, you'll see a reduction in volumes. We cannot say how much will the volume reduce, but yes, it should be more than 25% and probably less than 50%. So volumes, especially on the expiry day, will come down on the derivative side, right? Right. So metals, they have moved along with the Chinese stimulus. One needs to be cautious now, because what we have seen that the Chinese markets probably will hit in 1 or 2 days. The metals will also top out because the feel-good factor will now subside, right? Yeah. Optimus Infracom, I think so. They have had a run. Just follow your trailing stop loss there, because it's already run up quite a bit from there. Yeah, so gaps are always there which will remain and which will get filled. So what I've seen, most of the, if there's a gap in the major market on the downside, those gaps generally tend to be filled sooner or later, right? So this Nifty gap, Bank Nifty gap is there. So they will be filled very, very soon. So this, I have a feeling that if the global markets, if our markets stabilizes, so just let me take you to the Bank Nifty chart. I see the Bank Nifty 52,800 chart levels getting filled very, very easily. So can you see there's a gap here? $52,785,800. So moment it consolidates, this should be my first target, and this will be probably 50% of the total fall. So that's the area where my target, the first target should be met, right? 52,800. So what I'm looking at is tomorrow, if I get a gap up opening, what I'm looking at is whether second half it is sustaining or not. Because whatever we have seen that there is a selling after a follow-up buying. Last 2-3 days we've seen that. So I want to see the closing, whether it is sustaining or not. If it is not, then I will wait for the selling to get completed. Let me see whether it retests the monthly lows, comes back from there. So it is going to be very quick. One thing is there, China factor, very quick, right? Within 2 to 3 trading sessions, maximum. This cannot last long because they're selling very quickly. So there could be a furthermore selling of 25-30,000 crores, which will be absorbed very, very quickly once the market knows this is the last trench of selling. Yeah, Rahul bhai, not very sure about the chemical sector, haven't really tracked them, so not be able to answer on that. Not also in the PI industry because not really tracked that, right? So I'm looking at banking sector, FMCG sector, looking for some buy signals. I think so. Those are the sectors which should run, and I'm very bullish in HDFC Bank, right? Seeing the flow, seeing the price structure, holding on. I'm just waiting for a good entry level in the lower time frame, right? So before I take a few questions, just let me, Swati is giving me this. So basically, a lot of you know me, a lot of you have already done, but still it's a protocol. So what I teach this particular subject. So the name might be different. So on the options, how to execute. So if I'm bullish on an HDFC Bank, how to execute a strategy, what levels to enter. So God has been very kind. I'm close to 3,000 students in this program, right? So this is the program which I take. There is 2 live markets which are there, and there's an interactive session, which is everything is live, right? And we have the same type of sessions, and the courses are there. So what we teach from the basics of technicals to strategies which are there from everything, range market, breakout markets, everything. So this is a 1 month session where we have 1 half day live, full day live, and we have Saturday, Sunday classes, right? And you have an exam, you have a quiz, and so this is the course we are doing. This is a course we are discussing, right? And what we are going to add here is we are going to add one more thing. So since the markets are dynamic and we are changing, every 6 months, we're going to have a practical 5-6 days live trading session at a very low cost, where we're going to discuss the strategies and we're going to execute. So there'll be 6 live trading around 40-45 days. So every week there might be 1 live trading session. We're going to add this. So probably the next live trading session will be in the month of February or March. It'll continue for a month. So those people who want to freshen up, who have done this program, so only eligible for those people who have done AOT and TMP, who can join this live trading sessions because they know the things what I've taught, and you can be brushing up with this, right? So Vivek Bhai has asked, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Himal Bhai has asked, would it not be? Yes, Himal Bhai, I think so. Bank Nifty looks good. And I think so. HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, all are looking good. Why? Because they've not performed the next level the banks need to perform. So FMCG, Shreyas Bhai is asking me, so there's a FMCG sector. Please go Hindustan Lever, ITC, they are all the top Dabur, they're the top FMCG stocks. Go and study individual stocks. Rajiv sir, your psyche does not allow you to take big profits. So Rajiv sir, this is very simple. You book 50%, you hold 50%. Yeah. So Ame sir, it can be PSU, State Bank also. Yeah. Double sir is asking IT and insurance sector. IT we just discussed, it's in a range. Let's the results come out, which side the breakout takes place. We'll have to see. It is not showing any panic as such. but it can be a breakdown on the results, but it is not showing any panic. Yeah, FMCG can continue. Right. Gold, as I told you, will lead, and which will tell you the next big indicator very soon. Good. So yes. So the trade for Nifty tomorrow, gap up, wait for the second half. So tomorrow is basically a waiting day. Right? Tomorrow is basically a waiting day, Ankit Bhai. But if there's a gap up, there's a follow-up buying. If the selling doesn't come, then you can be sure that Tuesday the follow-up buying can continue. Right? Great. So anybody wants to ask a question which is there, you can ask your question. Yeah. So Paras has asked a question, renewables. Yeah, Paras, renewables move on their own way. So you need to track on the individual stock basis, because they generally don't follow the markets as such. Right? They have their own stories. They move on their own structures. Right? So now let's just look at Nifty Pharma. Yeah, a classical bull run, sir. A classical bull run. And you see there's no follow-up selling at all. And it's holding on to the levels. So, sir, nothing to worry in the Nifty Pharma. Right? Nothing to worry. Good. Yeah, Ashish bhai, crude oil oversold, but I don't feel there is a very big problem on for the bulls or the bears. So what I feel that ultimately the bears will be winners. Right. Yeah, I think so. We have discussed mid cap and small cap. I think so. No, there's no distribution. No signs of distribution. Yeah, I think so. We have discussed the stocks, banking, as well as FMCG. No, nothing on the indices. No indices, factors or nothing. Good. So what we've done is, I think so, we have a broad view. So let me sum up before I just take a few questions. The summing up tells you that we are not at the end of the bull market. We are just in a correction. Right? We are just in a correction. The second part is global markets have not shown a panic. This is just a temporary situation where Chinese markets fast recovery has forced those fund managers who had put Chinese funds money into the Indian markets to come back and to get out of these other Asian countries where the funds were there. And this is moving very quickly. It might just take a few more trading sessions before these funds are out. Then you are in your own demand supply and the global factor together. Global, you're all fine. We saw the S&P, which is the highest market cap indices, absolutely fine. We saw after the Iran bombing on Israel, gold has not reacted, right? And even after US president saying we'll bomb Iran crude oil production, crude has made a doji or a shooting star. So what you want is if there is no bombing, everything is cool. So what my common sense tells me that Israel is already with Lebanon. They'll complete that. That might take one more month. So they will not touch Iran. So this next 1 month, there probably doesn't look like any panic on the geopolitical front. I might be wrong. If there's a bombing, gold goes up. So we've given the levels. We've discussed this. So if there is a panic, we'll take that. But till now, nothing. Let this China story get over in the next 2-3 days. If Nifty retests 24,750, all the more good. Monthly correction done with. RSI daily chart, past reversals trend telling you that 40 has been a support. So 1 or 2 days, you can get an intraday fall and then recover, or you can straight away get a gap up. What I want to see is, I don't want to see a follow-up selling. If it goes up and in the day, if there is no selling, 1 or 2 days we survive, we are going up. Right? One more thing, the rise will be very quick from here, whenever it reverses. Because these types of corrections, they don't last long. So the rise will be very quick in this particular case. Why? Because the global markets have not followed. So it's a very big opportunity. Don't miss that. Right? Yeah, Ankush bhai, you can join. We don't require any type of knowledge. You can join. There's no problem. Yeah, Rahul bhai is asking Nifty around 23. Okay, Rahul bhai, so very simple. You know, Rahul bhai, crude oil was $100 2 years back. So crude oil is $70 today, and inflation has gone up. So if you take the inflation adjusted crude oil, today it is $50, right? So India requires a lot of crude. So the cheaper the crude, the better it is for the economy. So if the inflation is low, which we are seeing, Indian markets tend to do well because you have a 6.5% growth, right? And you are going from a 3 trillion, 4 trillion to a 10 trillion economy. So one more stock which I'm very bullish is the liquor stocks, right? So I'm very bullish. I'm looking for a correction to enter, right? Radico Khaitan. So once I get a good entry signal, I'm ready to buy. Why? Because seasonality, it tells me that the last 3 months, the seasons are there. So probably 1950 is a good stop loss area. And if it gives me a buy signal, I'm ready to buy. If you see the monthly chart from July to December, it does very well, right? Good. Nikhil bhai, possibility RBI, even if it does not cut, it will give you very positive vibe, right? It will give you very positive vibes. Good. Good. So individual stocks, I will not go much into it. I think so. I've covered mostly the sectors, right? Good. I think so. We've covered it all. So feedback form is there. And what I request, especially wise students, if you feel that we can make a difference in someone's life, please recommend this program if you feel that it can better someone's life, right? And don't worry, Swati is there. She'll work out all the modalities and she'll help out everyone who wants to join the program. Good. So all the other students, just wait. I think so the live session will be there. That 45 days we'll have 6 live sessions and where we'll go for little advanced strategies. Those who have done the TMP and the AOT, you can just get in touch with Swati and you can work that out. Those guys who have done AOT and TMP. So I think so. Thank you everyone for the wonderful time we had together, right? So one thing is there, markets and life, both are forward looking. So it is like an exam, right? Which gives you the results first and the learnings later on. The results will be given you first, but the learnings will come later on. So whatever we have discussed, the more you work, the better you are at successful. But I believe it's a good opportunity to make big money. If 1 or 2 days the market doesn't fall, the opportunities are going to be very, very big. So now let's have a poll. How many of you believe that Nifty is going to close at 25,000 on October 31st? How many of you believe? So Swati is there. She's going to help us with the poll. Next 20 seconds, you can put the poll.
The poll is live. People are responding. Let us just see.
Right. So I think so. We'll close the poll. Yes. Swati, what is it showing?
Yeah, so it's on the screen. 37% says yes and 63% says no.
Wow. So probably yes. So probably now we feel that this is a normal correction. So thank you everyone for the wonderful day we had today, and we've made it possible with the discussion, with the understanding, with the both side view, what can happen and what is the probability of any event happening, right? So see you guys. All the very best. Bye-bye. See you. Take care. Thank you.